For your entire life, you were taught that faith means believing without proof. You were told that faith is hoping, waiting, trusting that something might happen someday if God decides. But what if that definition is wrong? What if faith is not belief at all? What if faith is a mechanical function of observation? What if reality itself does not respond to your wishes, but to where and how your consciousness is placed? Today, we are going to decode one of the most misunderstood ideas in both religion and science. An idea Jesus used constantly, and modern physics only rediscovered in the last century. It's called the observer effect, and once you understand it, you will never experience reality the same way again. Take a breath. Because this is where faith stops being symbolic and becomes physics. In the early 1900s, physicists ran an experiment so strange, it shattered our understanding of reality. The Double Slit Experiment. When scientists fired particles, electrons or photons, through two small slits, something impossible happened. If no one observed the experiment, the particles behaved like waves, not solid things, but waves of probability, existing everywhere at once. They were not matter, they were potential. But the moment an observer measured the system, the wave collapsed. Instantly, the particles snapped into a single position in space. Matter appeared, reality solidified. This means something radical. It means the universe is not out there, separate from you. It is waiting for you. Reality does not exist as a fixed object until it is observed. Before observation, there is only potential, and the universe waits for a command. Now let's clarify something important. This is not about positive thinking, and it's not about imagination magically changing atoms. The observer effect implies this. Reality responds to information. Reality stabilizes around coherence. Observation selects from existing possibilities. Consciousness does not invent reality. Consciousness chooses which version of reality becomes experienced. And this is exactly what Jesus was teaching. Jesus never defined faith as hoping. He defined it as certainty before evidence. According to your faith, it is done unto you. Your faith has made you whole. Believe that you have received, and it will be yours. Notice the pattern. Jesus never said, "Believe it might happen." He said, "Believe it has happened." Past tense. Why? Because faith in his teaching was not emotional belief. Faith was stable observation, a state of consciousness that no longer oscillates between doubt and hope. And in physics, a stable observation collapses probability into form. Let's look at a specific example. The story of Jesus walking on water. Peter steps out of the boat. For a moment, his observation is locked on Jesus. He is in a state of high coherence. The laws of physics bend. He walks on water. But then, the text it says, "But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out." Notice the sequence. First, he shifted his observation. He stopped looking at the possibility, Jesus. He looked at the impossibility, the wind. His observation became unstable. The coherence broke. The wave function collapsed back into the default reality, and he sank. Jesus asked him, "O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt?" He wasn't criticizing Peter's religion. He was criticizing his focus. Why did you break the observation? This is the secret. Faith is the ability to hold an internal observation steady, even when external reality contradicts it. Most people observe reality like this. I hope this changes. I'm afraid it won't. What if it fails? It never works. This creates measurement noise. In quantum terms, the wave never collapses. You're constantly collapsing and uncollapsing your reality. This is what anxiety is. Anxiety is not just emotional weakness. Anxiety is unstable observation. Your attention jumps constantly. Past, future, fear, doubt, memory, imagination. From a quantum perspective, anxiety prevents the miracle. The system stays probabilistic. Nothing changes. Jesus understood this deeply. That's why he said, "Do not worry about tomorrow." Not as advice, but as physics. The anxious mind cannot observe coherently, and without coherence, no timeline stabilizes. Consider the storm on the Sea of Galilee. The disciples are panicking. They are observing death. They are observing chaos. Their emotional state is validating the storm. But Jesus is asleep in the back of the boat. How can he sleep? Because he is not observing the storm. He is resting in a state of absolute peace. His internal observation contradicts the external reality. When they wake him, he doesn't join their panic. He stands up and projects his internal order onto the external chaos. "Peace, be still." And the storm stops. Why? Because the observer with the strongest coherence wins. The disciples were incoherent. Jesus was coherent. His observation overwrote theirs. This is the power of the single eye we spoke about before. A single, unwavering observation has dominion over chaos. Modern neuroscience confirms something powerful about this mechanism. The brain emits electrical signals, but the heart emits magnetic fields thousands of times stronger. Electricity carries information, magnetism stabilizes form, thought equals direction, emotion equals amplification. Faith is not mental effort. Faith is heart-brain coherence. This is why Jesus always addressed the heart. Believe in your heart, because the heart is the stabilizer. The observer is not just the mind. The observer is the state of being. Most prayers sound like this: "God, please fix this." "God, I'm afraid." "God, I don't know what will happen." That is not faith. That is the observation of lack. And the universe reflects your observation, not your requests. Jesus never begged. He thanked before results appeared. Before raising Lazarus, he said, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me." Lazarus was still dead, but Jesus was already thankful. Gratitude is not politeness. Gratitude is the chemical signature that the event has already occurred. It tells reality, this state is already selected. But here is the hard part, the time lag. You might say, "I observed it, but nothing happened." You must understand the density of matter. In the quantum realm, things change instantly. But in the physical world, matter is dense. It moves slower. Imagine a large ship changing direction. The captain turns the wheel. The signal is sent, but the ship takes time to turn. During that delay, most people give up. They say, "It didn't work." And by observing it didn't work, they cancel the turn. They reset the miracle. Jesus taught endurance. "He that endureth to the end shall be saved." Endurance is simply holding the observation through the time lag, refusing to look at the storm while you wait for the calm. Let's make this practical. Here is how you collapse a new outcome. Step 1. Enter the now. Bring attention to the body, breath, sensation, presence. This removes the time-based noise of anxiety. Step 2. Choose the outcome, not emotionally, not desperately, but clearly, like selecting a channel on a radio. Step 3. Observe it as real, not imagined, not hoped, but recognized, as if you are noticing something that already exists in the room with you. Feel the relief of it being done. Step 4. Stabilize. No contradiction, no inner argument. Hold the signal steady. When doubt comes, do not fight it. Just return to the observation. Step 5. Let reality catch up. Reality always lags behind consciousness, not because it resists, but because it rearranges density. Wait with certainty. Trust the physics. Jesus did not suspend physics. He mastered it. He didn't override reality. He selected it. That's why he said, "The works I do, you will do also." Not because he was special, but because the laws are universal. Faith was never mystical belief. Faith was observer mastery. Reality is not happening to you. Reality is responding to you, not to your wishes, not to your fears, but to your observation. When observation becomes coherent, the wave collapses and the miracle appears. If this message brought clarity, you are welcome to subscribe and stay connected to this frequency. Faith is not religion. Faith is physics, and you are the observer. Welcome home.